What's going on, you guys? This video I'm going to go over how to utilize GoHighLevel transcripts inside of the GoHighLevel workflows. And also, if you are watching this and you are using Steve Trang software, objection-proof AI, I'm going to show you how to get these transcripts so that way you don't have to utilize smartphone and change phone providers, and then how to send the transcripts over to the software for the evaluations. So you will need three tools. The first one obviously is GoHighLevel. The second one is Make, which is very similar to Zapier. I will explain why I use Make a little bit later. And then the other one is OpenAI, with a ChatGPT account, and you need to have an OpenAI API key. So I'll show you how to set all of this stuff up. So please just follow step by step exactly what I'm doing, and it'll all come together. So the first thing that you need is a Make account. So go ahead and just go to make.com and you can get started for free. Now, if you are doing a lot of volume of phone calls, you will most likely need to pay for a Make paid account, but it is very reasonable on the pricing compared to Zapier. That's exactly why I use Make over Zapier. I get way more I would say zaps, but they call it scenarios. So I get, or operations rather. So I get 10,000 operations per month for only $10.59 a month. Zapier is much more expensive. If you prefer Zapier, you can use Zapier and follow the exact same steps that I am showing you right now inside of Zapier. Just know that you will probably pay more if you are doing a lot of volume. So the second thing, after you create a Make account, this will work on the free version of Make as well. But then obviously once you get to a certain amount of operations, you're going to have to upgrade to a paid account. The next thing that you need is a ChatGPT or OpenAI API key. So first of all, make sure that you have an OpenAI account. You can literally just go to openai.com and it will take you here where you log in. And if you have a ChatGPT account, then you have an OpenAI account. So all you have to do is go to OpenAI API. You can just Google that, click on OpenAI API, and then up here at the top right, click on Dashboard. Over here on the left, you're going to see a tab called API Keys. And if you don't already have an API key, go ahead and create a new secret API key. It will give it to you. Copy and paste it into your notes. Save it. Don't lose it, because after you generate the API key, you cannot view it again. So as you can see, it's cut off. I cannot view my API key again, so I have to save it. So do not lose your API key, or else you're going to have to generate a new one and reset everything up. So once you have a Make account and a OpenAI API key, then you're ready to get things going. Before I walk you through the setup, just know that you do have to pay per request, or you pay per amount of total tokens. So my account makes roughly 400 to 500, well, I'd say 500 to 600 outbound calls per day with about a 40% answer rate, at least roughly, maybe not exactly. And I am halfway through August and I have spent $48 so far. So you will most likely spend probably anywhere from $50 to $100 a month or more, depending on how many calls you're making, plus the $10 a month on Make. So this is going to cost you roughly $100 or more a month, depending on how many calls you're making. So please keep that in mind. This isn't necessarily free, but it is very similar cost to GoHighLevel's native transcripts. So when I was using GoHighLevel's native transcripts, I was spending roughly $90 a month. However, the only issue with that is I cannot actually use those transcripts anywhere inside of the workflows. So it does come out to an even cost. So it's really not that much more. So keep that in mind. So once you have those two things, go ahead and head over to your workflows inside of GoHighLevel, I will just create a folder here called tutorial. Okay, and then you're going to create a workflow. And then click on continue from scratch. And we're going to name this workflow send call URL to make. Okay. And then what we're going to do is add a new trigger. And this trigger is going to be call status. And then you're going to add a filter. And you're going to select call status is completed. So this is going to be anytime a call is completed inside of the CRM. If you want it to only transcribe specific calls, you can add more filters. So for example, if it was only an outbound call or an inbound call, or if they were in the specific workflow. So you can get as specific as you'd like, but I'm doing all of them. Okay, for the purpose of this tutorial, what I'm going to do is open up the other workflow that I have so I can reference my setup so I don't forget anything. So I'm going to go to send call URL to make. Okay, so then we have a wait step. And we're going to set 18 or point, I think, what do I have it? 0.3 minutes. And so that would be roughly 18 seconds. And the reason we have 18 seconds is so that way it's enough time for the call URL to generate. Because if a call is recorded, then you need to wait before putting it into the workflow for there to actually be a URL to transcribe. Okay, the next thing I do is I determine the length of the call. So we're going to use an action which is called ChatGPT, because you can utilize ChatGPT inside the workflows. And I give the call URL to ChatGPT, or not the call URL, I give the call start time and end time to ChatGPT, because if you use GoHighLevel, you know what I'm talking about. But if you leave a voicemail or you get somebody's answering machine, GoHighLevel doesn't know that that's not a real call because it hears a voice. So it counts it as a completed call. So that's a GoHighLevel flaw. So what my problem was that I was getting a bunch of call, like voicemails transcribed, and I'm obviously spending money on that, and I don't need those transcriptions, right? So what I do is I will give this a prompt, and I will provide a document below this video. If you're watching this on Loom, it'll be in the summary below. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the description below. So copy the link, put it in your Google, and it'll be a document with all these resources. Okay, so any prompts that I'm showing you here will be in that document. You can just copy and paste it. So I'm going to paste it here. So the prompt is, below is the start time and end time, including the date of the call, and military time of a phone call that was just completed. Here's the start time, here's the end time. And then it gives the custom values. And then I ask it, is the call longer than 30 seconds? Respond only with yes or no. If the start time and end time are on the same date at the same time, respond with no. So this is the prompt. Come down here to advanced options and change the temperature to 1 so it stays very strict to your instructions. And you can name this whatever you want. So we'll go ahead and determine length of call. So I only want to transcribe calls that are longer than 30 seconds because that means it's most likely a phone call. A voicemail is definitely not longer than 30 seconds, like 99% of the time. So I'm going to save that action. And then I'm going to add another action, and this is going to be an if-else action. So if I'm going to put yes here for the branch name. So if the ChatGPT response contains yes, it will go down this branch. If it's no, it'll go down the none branch. So I can rename the none branch to no if I'd like as well. So if it was a real call, it'll go down this branch. If it was not a real call or longer than 30 seconds, it'll go down this branch and nothing will happen. The next thing we're going to do is set up a custom webhook. So what we need to do is open up Make so we can generate a webhook so we have a place to send the information to. So when you're in Make, click on Scenarios, and we're going to create a scenario. Select the webhooks, custom webhook, and then I'm just going to click Add, and then I'm going to just give it a name. So we'll just do tutorial, and I'll click Save. And then I get a URL here. So I'm going to click Copy Address to Clipboard, and I'm going to click Save. Okay, so now this is the webhook, which we're going to be sending call data to. So back inside of the GoHighLevel workflow, click the plus action, and you're going to type in webhook and select custom webhook, and you're going to type in send call information to Make. This is going to be set as post, and then the URL is where you paste that URL right here. And then down here, we're going to fill out the information we're going to be sending to Make. So I'll show you mine. Go ahead and copy and paste this into here. Again, this will be on the document as a resource. And then click on Save Action. Okay. And so this is what it should look like. So here's what we're sending to Make. We're sending the call URL. We're sending, oh, by the way, you have to have call recording turned on. If you don't know how to do that, please just go to high-level support. It's very simple. But turn call recordings on, and then this will work. So message attachments, which is the call URL, and then the phone number, and then the start time and end time of the call. Okay, so you'll understand why this stuff is being sent here in just a little bit. So this workflow is done. So I'm going to publish and save. Okay, so we have a trigger. It verifies that it's actually a call longer than 30 seconds. And if it is, it sends the call information to Make. So once you have the webhook here, you need to make a test phone call. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to pause. I'll be right back. And I'm going to make a test phone call now that the workflow and the first action of the webhook is set up. So that way we have some real data to work with here. So call yourself, make a real phone call that's longer than 30 seconds because it needs to pass your workflow that we'll get here. So I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. All right. So once you make your test phone call, you know it worked. If you go and you check the workflow you created, it says that one has been enrolled. And if I go to execution logs, I can see that the action for my test contact was hit. Okay. So now when I go back to the Make scenario, I can right click on the action and run this module only, and then select here, use existing data. So now we have the test data. So this is the information that we sent that has now been received via this workflow that we set up. Remember, that's the information, and now it has been received. All right, so now we can go ahead and add the next action. So make AI content extractor, and then we're going to select transcribe an audio file. It'll be the first one here, transcribes an audio file. This one is only to English, I believe, so I don't think it really matters. And then change file to URL. And then when you select URL here, you're going to see the data, and select the field recording URL. And so it'll automatically fill in the URL. Down here, you don't really have to select this, I don't think, but if you'd like, this is just like the language. So this is English US. So, and then show advanced options. And then here's what we're going to do. Max speakers is how many speakers are in the phone call. So if you are a company that only ever has 2 people talking in a phone call, then put 2 here, because what it will do is it will make the transcription more accurate, because the AI transcribing it knows to only look for 2 people speaking. If you always have 3 people in group calls, put 3 so the AI knows to listen to 3 different perspectives. If it's always random, leave it blank, because if it's 2 and you happen to have 3, it's going to be wrong. For me, I only ever have 2 speakers on a phone call. So I'm going to put 2. And then the next thing we're going to do is enable speaker labels. So this is diarization. Diarization means it says speaker 1, speaker 2, basically. So I'm going to show you guys later how to set it up so the names are correct. You can also select here if you want it to remove profanity. I don't really care. So I'm going to put disable profanity filtering and save. Okay. Once you set that up, what this is going to do now is it will transcribe the audio from that URL. And then because we turned diarization on, it gives us a ton of data that we do not need at all. So let's go ahead and save this for now. And let's run this module. And I'm going to grab this URL recording. So if you click on this little thing right here, and then just click this download button, download output, you're going to get the call URL right here that you can copy. And then paste it here for the test and click OK. Now it's going to transcribe that call. So let's give it just a second. There we go. So as you can see, the output here is all the text of my test call just bundled up together, right? Now, this is what a typical transcription is going to look like. There's not going to be any differentiators of it being a speaker 1, speaker 2, or John and Jane, or whatever, right? Speaking, and when. We need the timestamps as well. So what we're going to do is down here, if you click on phrases, you're going to get a ton of data here. Okay, so as you can see, it takes every word and the timestamp in milliseconds that word was said. So it does that for speaker 1 and all other speakers in the call. So anyways, this is the data we need. But as you can see, if we were to just import this transcript into the CRM, we would have literally it would just be imported like this. So it wouldn't look very good. So we need to clean it up in order for it to look like this. Okay. So now it will give you the timestamps. It'll give you the names and a cleaned transcript just like that. Okay. So that's the goal. Because right now it's just a bunch of jumbled data. But we know it worked. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a OpenAI thing action. And if this is the first time you doing this, then it's going to ask you to connect your OpenAI account via the API, which we created earlier. So copy that API, paste it, connect your OpenAI account. Once it's connected, then you're going to have all these options. Right here, create completion. We're going to be able to give it a prompt. And you can name this, or you can add a new one. Okay, so this is where you would do it. You'd click add, and then you would name your connection. So I did clean. I don't know why I named it clean utterances, or you can do clean transcript, whatever, and then put your API key and then save. And then you're going to select the method. And so just select create a chat completion, GPT, and O1 models. And then you're going to select the model and select the newest, GPT-5. And then delete max tokens. So that way you're not limited to how many tokens. And then add a message. And you're going to select user. And then this is where you put in the prompt. So you can type in the prompt. So I'll give you the prompt that I use. And again, this is going to be inside of the document that I provide in the description. So here's what we've built so far. We've built a workflow which sends the call data every time a call is completed to make. Then it transcribes that call URL And now we're making it clean the transcription data. So this is the prompt. You are a raw transcript, or you clean a raw transcript and has this data in it into a readable conversation with MMSS, which is minutes and seconds, timestamps. You also replace generic speaker labels with real names when there is strong evidence. So that's how we know who is speaking. Not every single call is going to have a name if their names aren't clearly mentioned. Okay. This is the confidence policy. It has to be over 80% confident in the fact that based on the evidence and the entire context of the call, that whoever ChatGPT is assigning to be the speaker, it has to be over 80% confident. And then it gives an output format, tells it what to do to clean up the thing, the transcription. If you need to adjust anything, I recommend give the prompt to ChatGPT and then tell it what you need it to fix. It will give you back an updated prompt and you can copy and paste it back in here. Okay, so now that we have the prompt of what it needs to do, we actually need to give ChatGPT the transcript to process. So at the very bottom, it says now process this transcript. And we're just going to hit enter once to give it a space. And this is where we're going to put the phrases key here, which is that whole complicated thing I showed you with the timestamps, the text, and the speaker names. Don't use output because that's just all the jumbled text. So you have to use the phrases key right here. Okay, and then I'm going to save this. You can rename these. Clean transcript, transcribe call, receive call data. All right. So we're only using one third-party app, which is ChatGPT. If you did this in Zapier, this transcribe call feature would have to be a different transcription software that's a third party. So I would recommend Assembly AI. That's what I used prior when I was using Zapier. Assembly AI was pretty good, and it gives you the same data that I'm showing you here. Okay, so once this is completed, the last step is to actually send back the clean transcript to GoHighLevel. So I'm going to save this for now, and we're going to go back to GoHighLevel. And now that you have the one workflow, we need to create another workflow which receives the data. So we've only sent one that sends the data. We need one that receives the data. So we're going to create a workflow again from scratch. And I'm going to name this receive call transcript from ChatGPT. I'm going to save this for now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom field inside of a contact, which looks like this, because we need somewhere to put the transcript, right? So I just put it in general information, or no, I didn't. I used it in call info. So you need to create two custom fields, specifically call URL and call transcript. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to settings inside of your GoHighLevel, click on custom fields, go to folders, and then pick a folder you want to put it in or create a folder, and you're going to add a field. For the call URL, you can do a single line and just name it call URL, select the folder and save. And then for the transcript, do multi-line, name it transcript, and select the folder and save. And then it will look like this. So we have a place to put the call transcript and a place to put the call URL. Okay, once you created that, then head back to this workflow, which is going to receive the transcript. And you're going to add a new trigger, and you're going to type in inbound webhook. You're going to select inbound webhook. So this is the webhook that Make is now going to send the data to, so it gets back into ChatGPT. So copy this, head back over to Make, and we're going to add another module, and this is going to be HTTP, and we're going to select HTTP built in. And then we're going to select Make a request, and then you're going to paste the URL right here that we just copied from GoHighLevel. The method here is going to be post, because it's posting the information in GoHighLevel. Headers can be left blank, query left blank, body type, you're going to select multi-part form data. And then we're going to add fields here. So add a field, it's going to be text, and you're going to name this one phone number. And then in the value here, you're going to select down here at the bottom, select the contact phone field. Okay, I'll explain what that's used for in just a little bit. We're going to add another text field. We're going to name this one call URL. And then in the value, select the recording URL. We're going to add another one. This one is going to be a text file as well. And we're going to call this one transcript. And for the value, you're going to come over to the ChatGPT and you're going to select result. So this is going to be the result of the cleaned transcript. So we're sending three things: the phone number, the call URL, and the result, and the transcript basically. And then click save. So I'm going to right click, rename this, call it send transcript to GoHighLevel. Save. Okay, I'm going to save this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to test this information. I need a phone number and a call URL again to test it, because we're going to send a test over to GoHighLevel, so that way we can fetch a sample request. So I'm going to go ahead and make a test phone call again to myself. All right, so I went ahead and did another test phone call. We're going to head back to the transcript. Oh, that's the wrong one. Send call URL to make. Currently waiting. And it's sending the information now. And it's done. Okay. So now I'm going to right click inside of make, run this module only, and now we have data. So I'm going to use existing data. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to open another tab. I'm going to open make again. And I'm going to open the current scenario I'm working on. Click so I can start editing. And then over here, I'm going to right click and I'm going to run this module only, and I'm going to start putting the information in. So click download and download outputs so we can see this information again. I'm going to put the call URL and the recording URL field, the phone number into the contact phone, and then the result. We're just doing a test, so this can just be test result is here. Click OK. All right, it went ahead and sent a request to the workflow for receive call transcript from ChatGPT. So click on the select reference payload and you should see a request now. And you're going to see a bunch of data here, and you can see the phone number, the call URL, and the test result. So the reason why I had you transfer the phone number to make and then back to GoHighLevel is when it gets back to GoHighLevel, the phone number is a unique identifier on how it knows what contact to update the transcript for. So I'm going to save the trigger, and what it's going to do is it's going to forward me to a create and update contact action, and we're going to add a field, and this is where we're going to type transcript, call transcript. So the call transcript field is the field you created. Let's go here. It's the field you created here. All right. Whatever you named it, whether you named it transcript or transcription, just type it in the workflow here or in the action. And then we're going to provide a field. So this data that we just got sent back from make, when we're editing this, transcript, call URL, phone number, these are now custom fields right here. So we have a custom field for an inbound webhook trigger. So I'm going to put the call transcript here. I'm going to add the field, call URL, and that's call URL. So I'm going to put phone and then phone number. Okay, so that's how it knows the phone number is how it knows what contact to update. So this is not going to create a new contact. It's just going to update the contact that is matching this phone number. So I'm going to save, publish, save. Okay. And we're good to go. So now, if I run this again, now that this workflow is complete, I can run this module again with the same information that I just used. Recording URL, the phone number, and then the result. So test result. Okay, now it's doing a test. GoHighLevel should have received it. You can see my contact, because it had my phone number in it, has now been added to the workflow. And if I go search my contact here inside of GoHighLevel, you're going to see this is now updated. Don't worry about this. This won't happen for you because I didn't show you how to set it up. It's conflicting with my other workflows. I'll show you how to set that up though in here in a little bit. But you can see the call URL has been filled out and the test result text that I put there is now in the transcript. And so this will be filled out with the actual transcript because it's going to go through all of these steps, right? Now, before we move on to show you how to actually utilize the transcripts inside of workflows and send that call transcript to objection-proof AI, we need to set up what happens if it fails. Because one thing that make does, which is kind of annoying, is if you have like 2 or 3 fails, it just turns off the workflow, basically. It just turns off the scenario. So we're going to do 2 things. We're going to check this box. We're going to run this scenario every time the data has arrived. So every time a call is completed, it will run. Okay. And then what we're going to do, there are going to be calls that fail. Okay. I would say like 1 out of every 25 to 30 calls fail and don't make it through for some reason. It's just a make error or a ChatGPT error or a transcription error for some reason. That's just what happens. So we don't want the make scenario to keep turning off if we get a failure. So here's what we do is we right click. We're going to do this on the last 3 actions. Right click, add error handler, and just ignore it. And then do it on this one. Right click, add error handler, ignore. And then last one, add error handler, ignore. Save, and then auto align. So what this will do is if this fails, it just ignores it. If this fails, it ignores it. If this fails, it ignores it. So it only happens sometimes. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's better than your make workflow turning off all the time. So the GoHighLevel workflows and the make setup is now completely completed. You can now make calls and receive the transcripts every single time right here. Now, how do you actually use this transcript inside of workflows and send the data to objection-proof AI if you're using that software? You got to go to workflows. And I'm going to go to my tutorial folder. So you should have 2 workflows in here now. Send call URL to make and receive call transcript from, well, I'm going to probably rename this to from make. There we go. Or Zapier, whatever you're using. And now we're going to create another workflow. And it's going to trigger, the trigger is going to be when a contact has changed and when the call transcript field you created has changed. So I'm going to rename this new transcript available. I'm going to call this one whatever you want. So I'm going to say send call transcript to objection proof AI. So that's going to be what my workflow is. now that we have a custom field for a contact, which gets updated with a transcript, we can use the custom field, custom value inside of workflows. So if I wanted to, for example, as you guys saw, let me show you again. Every time I have a call completed, let's go to this guy. Every time I personally have a call completed, I like to include the transcript here along with a call summary and with the call data. So what I do is I have a ChatGPT action, and I'll go ahead and give you guys the ChatGPT prompt. Okay, the first thing I do is I have it determine whether it's a real call or not. So if for some reason a voicemail did go through, this is another layer of protection to make sure that I'm not creating notes with voicemails and I'm not having summaries created from a voicemail. So I like to first verify, ensure real call. I'll go ahead and provide this prompt, right, in the document down below. So paste it here, and it's basically just instructions on how to properly ensure that this is not a voicemail. And then at the very bottom, it says, here's the transcript to review. And this is where we can actually utilize the custom value now. So now if I click on the tag and I just type in transcript, I'm going to see, don't use voice AI transcript, use the custom fields, call transcript, whatever you named the field. And now I can utilize that. Put temperature to 1. And then again, we're going to add another if-else action, which if this ChatGPT response is or contains yes, then that means it was a real call. And if it wasn't, then it would be no. So this is just an extra layer of protection. You don't have to do this. I just like to do it. Okay. So now that I have this distinction on what's a real call and what's not, now I can do whatever the heck I want with it. So now I can create another ChatGPT action if I'd like, and I can have a summary get created, right? So I have a summarized call, and it's a very simple prompt. And I'll just paste it here. Again, I'll give you guys this prompt in the document. And then advanced options, just put temperature to 1. Okay, so I basically just say, hey, here's my transcript. Please give me a 1 to 2 paragraph concise summary of the call. All right. And then what I do is I have it create a note. So add to notes. And then I just put like date of call. Right now, date, month, day, year. Call URL. Okay, so I include the summary and the transcript below this, but then I put the call URL. That's why I had you guys create the call URL field and have it send back the call URL. Custom fields call URL. So that way I can reference what phone call this actual summary is for. I'll just put summary. ChatGPT is the action, which is summarizing my call. So I can just go down here to ChatGPT, select the action, summarize call, and whatever the response is. And then I'll have transcript, and I'll use the custom value that I created. Transcript. And that's it. And then I can publish and save. And so now I can do whatever I want. I can have it summarize calls. I can put it in notes. I can have ChatGPT take notes for me, do whatever I want. So that's how you do it. Now, if you are using objection-proof AI, I'm going to show you how to set this up. So I'm going to delete the actions that I just made. So if you're watching this just to figure out how to use transcriptions inside of workflows, that is the end of this video. You can go ahead and click off. If you set everything up correctly, should be good to go. If there are any issues, leave a comment down below and I can try to help. For those of you using objection-proof AI, let me go ahead and set up my, open my objection-proof AI workflow so I can show you my current setup. Okay, so let me go to objection-proof AI. And you're going to want to go to settings, and you're going to see your API key right here. So copy that API key, head back to GoHighLevel, and then what I'm going to do is all you're going to do is add an action under the yes branch, and this is going to be webhook, custom webhook, and it's going to be, you can name it whatever, so send transcript to objection-proof AI, and then the URL is going to be this for objection-proof AI. And then this is where you're going to paste your API key. So we're going to put 2 headers. Whoops. We're going to add 2 headers. So click add and add. This first one is going to be x-API-key. X API key. And then you're going to paste the API key from inside of objection-proof AI right here in the value. And then the other key is going to be content-type. And you're just going to type in application/JSON. Okay, and then I'm going to leave this as well in the document below. But you're going to just paste this inside the raw body. So what we're sending is the agent, which is the salesperson, essentially. So this is you or whoever is the assigned user. I have not figured out a way to make it whoever is the one who actually attended the call. Okay? Please keep that in mind. So if John had the phone call, but the contact is assigned to Stephanie, then inside of your objection-proof AI, the salesperson is going to be Stephanie because that is who is assigned to the contact. So please keep that in mind. If you have to update this, you can update it after it's been added. But that's the only unfortunate part about GoHighLevel is I can't select who was the actual person who had the phone call. But the prospect is easy because that's just the contact name. So just paste what I give you. And then the transcript is going to be the call transcript custom field that we created. So if your custom field is not contact.transcript, you need to delete this and start typing in whatever custom field yours was called and select it. And make sure you only have one quotation mark on each side of the custom value, okay? So you can update this to whatever it is that yours is, if it's not the same as mine. Source, GHL, and then call ID is going to be the contact call URL. So again, that is why I had you guys set up this right here, the call URL, because inside of objection-proof AI, the media section, there's no media. So typically, like if I do role play on the bot, there's a media section, right? Where I can listen to the phone call. But because we're importing the call from GHL, there's no media place where I can listen to the call. So we're making the call ID the URL of the phone call, so I can copy and paste it into my browser and listen to the call if I need to. Also, every call URL is different, so it also works as a call ID. Because you don't technically get a call ID from GoHighLevel, but the URL works as a call ID, essentially. So that is why I have the contact.callURL custom field. Again, if you named your URL field differently in your contact, make sure your custom value here is set accordingly to whatever yours is, or else it's not going to work. And then save action, save. And now every time you have a full call and you complete a call, It's going to trigger the workflow you set up. It's going to transcribe it. It's going to clean the transcription. It's going to send that transcription back. It's going to update the call transcription field. It's going to update the call URL field, which is then going to trigger this workflow. It'll make sure it's a real call before it sends it to Objection-Proof AI. Then it will send that data over to Objection-Proof AI so it can now evaluate your call. So it's a bit of a setup. It's really easy once you get the hang of it. But that is how you can transfer the information and have the most accurate call transcription with the best formatting with potential caller names inside of GoHighLevel and how you can utilize them in the workflow. So I hope this helps and answers a lot of questions. You do not need to transfer or transition your phone provider from GoHighLevel Lead Connector to smartphone in order to do this. You can do it all within GoHighLevel without transferring your phone numbers to a different phone provider if you just set it up this way. So that's the end of this video. If there are any questions, if you're watching this on Loom, please go ahead and leave a comment on the right. I'll answer it, or I'll try my best to. And if you're on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'll try to answer that as well. So that's the end of this video. I'll talk to you guys later.